Hello, this is Daniel Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. A lot of early predictions about Pyro centered around that when it was first released, it would be a griefer's hellhole, and a lot of people were scared as a result into staying in Stanton. And I was almost going to do the same, but ran into a fairly simple calculation. I am a content creator. The new stuff to talk about is in Pyro. Ergo, I need to be in Pyro. And so I have been. So far, mostly doing prospector mining, and while Pyro should not be presented as being as safe as Stanton, it is not the ganking crapstorm that most pessimistic predictions would have happened when opened up to the whole universe of players. Honestly, I have died more as the result of bugs or my own mistakes than at the hands of other players, which has only happened once and was, well, more pathetic on their part than mine. And this was because of a couple of wise choices by CIG that haven't gone talked about much, which I'm now going to talk about and then discuss what more they can do, while still keeping Pyro a PvP place. It should be and will be. But first, let me give some of my background about what I think PvE is, because a subset of PvP players, specifically those who aren't just enjoying a victory, but that takes pleasure in the infliction of pain, punishment, and humiliation on others. They've taken issue with my use of a word to describe them, even though that word specifically means taking pleasure in the infliction of pain, punishment, and humiliation on others. So honestly, their problem isn't with me, it's with the dictionary. And since they aren't going to rewrite the English language, they might as well just own the word. So let's talk a moment about darts. Yes, darts. If you play darts by yourself just to see how high a score you can get, that is PvE. You are pitting your skill against the challenge set out by the board. If you play darts against your friend to see who pays the bar bill, that is PvP. You are pitting your skill against their skill. Player versus player. Now, if instead the two of you decide that that's too simple and boring, and instead are going to throw the darts at each other, that's still PvP. Insanely high-stakes PvP for sure, but still PvP. Now, let's say you decide that that isn't exciting enough and just start randomly throwing the darts at anybody else in the bar. Well, that's just... that. Now, you can rationalize it by saying you're doing a favor to the bar by making it more exciting, or in reality, it is their fault for not ducking fast enough, or that they should have known better for coming into a bar where darts were possible, and that they should just get their own darts. Now, maybe the owner of the bar will agree to that, but I think much more likely they're going to have you arrested and barred from ever coming in there again. And nobody would say that they didn't have the right to do that just because you paid to be there. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about what CIG did right in making Pyro. The first and most obvious thing is the contested zone. These are frankly brilliant. I can stand naked in the shops area Pyro station, and while that's not advisable, the PvP players will run right by me because there's no challenge in killing a naked guy. Duh. And there's even less to loot from a naked guy. Double duh. But the challenge and loot are just around the corner, so it isn't worth the time to unholster your weapon to stop running. The popularity of the contested zones proved something that a lot of people were saying, that the most troublesome PvP in early 3.0 versions, like pad ramming, was happening because there wasn't a lot of other opportunities for PvP. Contested zones are drawing the people looking to satisfy their desire to challenge themselves against other players. The only real concern is whether players will get bored of them and start throwing the darts at each other in other places. The second, almost as brilliant change was to enable hangar spawning in home cities. So camping the exit from the habs is almost pointless, since so much fewer people will be entering the game there. And third, along with this, is the benefits of personal and instance hangars, which a lot of people missed because it wasn't really presented as one of the benefits of the change in hangars. But in the former hangar system, a favorite way to ambush someone was to go to a hangar, hide out somewhere in the shadows, and as soon as someone else opened their ship there, snipe or rush them. But with instance hangars, that doesn't happen, because unless they are you or a member of your party, they aren't going to be able to even get to your hangar. Even if they do rush the elevator, you're going to notice them, and even then the game's security system will quickly teleport them back to the main station. Now, what should CIG do further? And by saying this, I'm not indicating any sort of drop everything and take care of this first demand. Clearly, the things that need to happen in order to have the 4.0 live preview become the sole officially released, maybe we should just call that 4.1, is stability fixes and restoring mission content, followed by fully implementing the reputation system for Pyro. And frankly, what I am suggesting does overlap a bit with that. The first is that there needs to be an equivalent to the contested zones for space and combined arms combat, so that players whose interests lie in those directions would have a comparable battle outlet. I can think of two possibilities. The first is Jumptown. It always made more sense for some sort of automated drug lab to be in Pyro rather than Stanton. So have locations where gangs are setting up drug processing facilities and others are trying to take them over, and then make them more sophisticated and involved. In other words, instead of just having the whole system be a black box automatically spewing out contents, require that you don't just have to take over the lab, it also requires that you bring materials and have certain formulas. In other words, make it the prototype case of the crafting system, where the bugs in core systems can be worked out. The second case is Xenothreat. Not the missions, but the organization. Supposedly, everybody hates them, and supposedly they have some place in Pyro where they can outfit, supply, train, and deploy large-scale fleet resources up to and including the Idris. Where is that? So I am suggesting that they take one of the moons of Pyro 5 and have it be transformed into the military home of Xenothreat, covered with orbital and underground facilities of various sizes and complexity and challenge. In many of the smaller ones, if you clear them out and hold them for a minimum time, there are rewards. And then there should be ways, if you want a PvP playstyle, you can encourage or discourage that from happening, and my suggestion is to use the reputation system for that. Here's how. If I reach the upper echelons of, let's say, headhunters, then I am regarded as a VIP with them, and as a result, Citizens for Prosperity regards me as kill on sight. And anybody who does gains reputation with CFP and is regarded with kill on sight by the headhunters. So intentionally gaining high rep with headhunters or CFP becomes a de facto PvP welcome flag. But it should also be possible to gain high reputation with Rough and Ready. This would most likely be through cargo missions to deliver fuel and other critical components, protect their own convoys, recover lost goods, etc. The only limit is that you can't be a VIP level with Rough and Ready and also any of the other Pyro factions. But anybody that kills anyone with VIP status with Rough and Ready gets a reputation loss with Rough and Ready, and at negative reputation, lose access to Rough and Ready stations, which is pretty devastating. So while becoming a Rough and Ready VIP wouldn't make you immune to PvP, it sets up a pretty strong leave me alone signal. Which brings up another question. We already have Klesher Prison and bounty hunting in Stanton, and we know that there are bounty hunting version 2 coming, where you can actually have to capture and deliver the bounty target. So what is going to be the equivalent in Pyro? And I don't think the answer is nothing, because there is a difference between lawless and anarchy. There may be no formal courts, lawyers, police, and such, but like any other mafia state, there are rules that the gangs of Pyro expect to see followed in their territory and consequences for not following the rule. Every
wretched hive of scum and villainy
will still have its enforcers, right?
Yes, Greedo. As a matter of fact, I was just going to see your boss. Tell Jabba that I've got his money.
And if the fines aren't paid or grow too high, they send out essentially kidnapping missions, modeled after Bounty Hunting 2.0, where you are hauled in and put in a cage at a random outpost that the gangs control and held for ransom. If you don't want to pay your ransom, then you can escape by having friends locate and break you out. Of course, that does nothing to correct your problem with them. Alternatively, after a particular time, they may get tired of needing to feed you, or you may have somehow worked it off, and they'll just let you go for a minimal payment. So that's the state of PvP and Pyro. Not as bad as everyone feared, and a lot of opportunity for CIG to build upon it to make it even better. Now for an update on my giveaway. First, we have our special giveaway for Captain's members of dual VKB Gladiator joysticks, coming along nicely. Also, we have a special offer for channel members to earn a chance at a Mirai Guardian. Then we have the annual IAE Week giveaway next year for the seriously shiny stainless steel shipping ship, the Starlancer Max. And then finally, the Grow the Channel ship giveaway for the 20,000 subscribers for the winner's choice of the marvelous multi-role multiplayer mining meta, the Arasta, or the brand new big box bargain bazaar, the Merchantman. One entry per video for these members are entered automatically. Everyone else just subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is the faction that ought to have a huge military base in Pyro, but doesn't yet. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for RighL Guide.